Let's begin with Nigeria's education challenge and government's midterm response from reported mass failures in JAMB and WAEC to allegations of mismanagement of the student loan scheme. Education remains at the center of our national debate. But the federal government says solutions are underway. At the helm of this charge is Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, a medical doctor turned policy reformer, now tasked with resuscitating Nigeria's education system. Dr. Lausa, welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you.
All right, let's
for having me.
Good evening. Let's take the tough questions out of the way. You came under heavy criticism recently for suggesting that the mass failure in JAMB was evidence of successful anti-exam malpractice measures. JAMB registrar, Professor Loyede, later admitted a technical error which contradicted your earlier claim. How is your ministry navigating this development?
No, there's no contradiction here. The percentage of people, students that got above 200 over the 400 total marks remained the same. After the technical glitch, the reconducted exams in about 300 students, the percentage remained the same. Now, let's face it, this is the fact that we have to admit. And as I've always said, I don't mind laundering our dirty linen in public because that's how we can challenge ourselves and fix the system. I wish things were not like this by the time we came in. You look at NECO and WAEC, those exams are readily available before the students go into the exam centers. And the danger of cheating in exam is that it disincentivizes even the good student. A student that is learning, working hard, studying hard to pass an exam, he realizes that his other colleagues have seen the question. How do you think he will feel? There's a he or she will have a high temptation to join them. And this is what we're seeing. A lot of students have this question. They're cheating their way through WAEC and NECO. And by the time they go do JAMB, that's a computer-based exam, that is now almost 100% foolproof. They're seeing the question, they're now as doing exam the way exams should be done. That's why they're failing. I'm not saying improving quality of education at a secondary school, it's not a component of this problem. But the larger cause of this problem is that students are cheating. And when they go to do JAMB, they fail. And let me tell you something. During this glitch, there was a mother that called me and said, I trust my kids. They went to good school. They couldn't have failed this JAMB. I got the registrar on the call. We did a conference call about 10 p.m. That was just a day before the registrar started doing his diagnostic of the results, and they found this problem. Guess what? Those same students went back to do the exam. Several of them scored over 300 because they studied.
All right.
If students studied, they will pass JAMB. So I'm still committed to ensuring that WAEC, NECO will migrate to CBT. That is how we can stop this menace.
I hear you, Dr. Alausa, and I understand your concern about cheating. But in this case, there are quite a number of situations of students who said, you know what, we prepared hard for this exam and we're surprised that we eventually failed. And the JAMB registrar confirmed that indeed there was a technical glitch. We're also hearing now that a 10 billion naira lawsuit has been filed. We spoke with a lawyer on this show last week. How is your ministry responding to this legal action? Do you foresee compensation or redress for victims of JAMB system failure?
Let me tell you something. I'm not a legal expert, but let me tell you, this is logical and common sense. There's no alibi here. What are you filing a suit for? There was a glitch. which happens. Look at UK exam system. I'll tell you what happened last February in the exam that UK government conducts for doctors. There was glitch. They found that some people that shouldn't have passed were reported as passing. The ones that failed were reported as they passed. They realized that they had some glitch. They came out publicly, redid the exam, corrected their fault. There was simple glitch. And what happened, even before parents started shouting about this glitch, JAMB had done their own internal control. They know, based on states, they know the states that are high performing and the states that are not performing well. As they were analyzing those, their own internal data, they realized that there was something wrong before the outcry. So they knew, and within days, they did expansive review of the process and realized what happened. It was a technology glitch, which could happen anywhere, and it's been fixed. Now, 1 week or 1 week after, the students have they've taken the exams again. The ones that passed know, the ones that did not pass know what they scored. So if anybody is going to court, let them go to court. It is a free country. Our judges know. They decide this case. They decide these cases based on the law of the country. But let me tell you, it's just a small pocket of elements in our society. They don't want us to do the right thing. They are the largest, they're the biggest noise maker. But they won't stop us.
Yeah.
This President
I understand your concern, Honorable Minister.
Give me 1 second.
Yes.
Give me 1 second. This President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, believes fervently and benevolently in human capital development. Education is the center of it all. Healthcare and social protection. We will ensure that our exam system is clean, and we maintain it's a sanctuary that every child that goes into those exam hall will be treated fairly and equally.
I hear you, but my concern really is that there are also a genuine portion of the Nigerian population who have the best interest of this country at heart. And the reason for asking bold questions is to put public servants, make them accountable in such a way that things can get better. Because you are saying NECO and WAEC should go digital. Just recently, the DSS and police arrested 20 suspects for hacking the 2025 JAMB CBT exams. These are coordinated cyber attacks revealing the state of digital security in our education sector. Are you concerned? And what are you doing to protect the integrity of these exams? Because people have to believe in that integrity to be able to subscribe to it.
Thank you. There are layers, there's layers of cyber security that we have to deploy. Hacking is a big business now everywhere in the world. Go to other countries like the UK, like United States of America. It's a big business. They hack into their system. Last year, America lost almost $80 billion into the financial transaction from hacking. And it's happening everywhere. But what do? We need to up our game in protecting our digital infrastructure. And that's what JAMB has done. We have several protective layers. And people will try to hack, but we're finding them and we're preventing them from hacking. And I will let me repeat clearly to Nigerians, and please listen, please, let's look into the future. We can't, because that we have presumed problem that will happen. We should not migrate to the modern times, the way things are being done. Pencil and paper as a way of doing exams it's a past thing. Those are things that should pass decades. We now have to move to the modern way of doing exams, and that's computer-based testing.
All right.
We're working to deploying every layer of cybersecurity to protect the integrity of these CBT exams. And that's what is happening. That's what has happened.
I want us to be able to move on to other matters quickly, Honorable Minister.
Okay.
But if you can answer briefly, is there an independent panel investigating JAMB system integrity beyond internal reviews?
You know, they have multiple layers of internal control. they identified these problems before the public came out. And that's why within a day or 2 days after the release of the result, JAMB registrar called me. He already assembled expansive people, subject matter experts in the field, brought them in. They were very truthful, and they already identified their problems. So that was why they came in, admitted, and fixed the problem quickly, within days. So I don't see anything unusual here. This is just this is part of our life. We should expect problems like this. Similar problem will still happen, but is JAMB prepared? Will we get JAMB to be more prepared to address such issues? Yes. And as WAEC and NECO migrate to CBT as well, we will reinforce their system as well. And we've also broken down the silos that existed between all these three major exam bodies. They're collaborating now, talking together. We have a ministerial committee that myself and Minister of State for Education chair, that we're talking together. Just yesterday, we had a mid-time review of the WAEC exams. We found some problems, how those problems can be quickly mitigated. And our medium and long-term plan to prevent such problems from happening. We're very proactive. We are being proactive. It's a different day in the country. The education system is changing, and it's changing very quickly. We're modernizing the process. We're making everybody accountable. We'll make the teachers accountable, the parents accountable, the students accountable. We, the administrators ourselves, we're making ourselves will also be accountable.
Dr. Lausa, let's touch on WAEC for a bit. From Lagos to other states, we've seen over 122 billion naira spent on this exam in the past 6 years. But last year, over 54% of Lagos public school students failed. There are conversations around where we're seeing such poor outcomes despite rising investment. So stakeholders, for instance, have now blamed inadequate infrastructure in our school, poor teacher quality in primary schools, and what have you. You saw the viral video that showed students writing WAEC exams at night with torchlights in Asaba. You condemned the situation, but walk us through the systemic actions that are now being taken to ensure such conditions don't repeat themselves.
Let me quickly address the problem that happened at Unity Secondary School in Delta State. That's not acceptable. The condition in which those students wrote those exams was not acceptable. We're working with Delta State government to investigate why that happened. WAEC is involved, the government is involved, our FECAS team are all on the ground, and we will prevent such a situation from happening. Now, let me tell you, and I agree with you, part of what's happening here is the quality of education. And that's why the president has mandated us, as ministers in the Ministry of Education, that every single child in this country should get high-quality education. And when you give high quality of education to these children, what do you get? You get they're better thinkers, they have better critical thinkers. Their problem-solving abilities, it's high. Their ability to navigate life situation, it's high. They make informed decisions in life. And that's why we're focusing on improving the quality of education at our schools. Okay. From the foundational school to secondary school and to the tertiary institution. I'll tell you what we've done. We're improving, we're rehabilitating and building new classrooms. With about 125,000 of those classrooms will be built or rehabilitated between now and 2027. We're adding watch facility to these facilities. We're ensuring we're supplying these schools with digital skills, with instructional materials for children and teachers as well, ranging from technical skills and STEM. We're also focusing on improving our teacher capabilities. We're focusing a lot more on teacher professional development. Previously with UBEC, Funds were being given to SUBEB to just train these teachers. What we're doing now that will be launching in the next few months will be digital trainings for our teachers. All the content are being developed now, and as we finalize development of the content, these teachers will go on digitally. They will do their continuous professional development. At the end of it all, they will do a short exams. Once they pass, we will pay them for finishing those exams, for passing those exams. So we're incentivizing them to continue with their lifelong learning. We're also focusing on our curriculum. Today, curriculum cannot be static. It has to be versatile and dynamic. We've improved curriculum. We've updated the curriculum at the foundational level, the primary school and junior secondary school curriculum. The teacher professional development of that curriculum is being done as we speak. We will roll out that new curriculum this September. Now, we're also working on the curriculum, upgrading the curriculum for the senior secondary schools. And as we do this, we're also working on infusing AI into our learning, using AI to help our students in their lecture taking, in the way they read after, and also we're deploying AI to help our teachers in their in doing their lesson plans and the way they use curriculum. So we're attacking these problems in a multifaceted way.
All right.
With one single focus, improving the quality of education to every single Nigerian child.
Absolutely.
Via improving our teacher capabilities, and as well as the quality of education they give our children.
As you're talking now, I just remembered that when I wrote my GC exam, it was somewhere in a village in Oyo State. And this was like maybe 25 years ago. I can't remember precisely. But I had a similar experience where we're writing the exam late at night using candles and what have you. And it's just, mind-blowing that such is still happening in 2025. So there are people who are saying, hope there will be sanctions for officials who supervise that exam, for instance. But let's move away from that, Dr. Alausa, because we have like 6 more minutes for this conversation. You have insisted that there is no fraud in the student loan scheme. And this is despite ICPC's ongoing investigation and claims that some 71 billion naira still remain unaccounted for. Clarify the current status of the funds and where the remaining monies are.
Okay. I think with all due respect, the numbers you've just quoted, those numbers are not correct. There's no fraud in NEF Fund. NEF Fund is a legacy program of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He campaigned heavily. While our president was campaigning, he said, I will institute a loan scheme for students. Within the first few months, the president made this happen. Today, NEF Fund is performing. Over 500,000 students are already benefiting from NEF Fund. They're being paid monthly stipend. Their fees, all their fees are being paid. This NEF Fund has been a phenomenal success. What we're now doing now is to migrate more people, more students, to get the benefit of President benevolence. His fervent belief in ensuring that every single Nigerian gets a high-quality education. This year alone, for 2025, Mr. President has given us almost over 200 billion for the NEF Fund, so that more students can benefit, more tertiary institutions can benefit from this fund. Now, let me explain to you again. There were some releases from ICPC. They came out and retracted that statement. Initial release from ICPC was that of the 100 billion that had been budgeted for NEF Fund, 70 billion was not accounted for. That is not true. And ICPC came out and retracted that story. It is not unusual for ICPC to investigate. They have to do their work. What happened in NEF Fund, basically, was after I met with MD of NEF Fund, with all the vice chancellors, We sat down, we reviewed everything. It was just nomenclature problem. Now, when student and timing of payment, NEFund will release money to the universities in an haphazard manner. Sometimes by the time the universities get those monies, students would have paid their fee. I admit that the universities are not telling the students early enough that they have their fees. Their fees have been paid by NEFund. They're not communicating to them.
All right.
And when those fees have been paid, universities are taking some charges away from those fees, which is part of what their usual and customary way of doing of running their operations. But they're not informing those students. That was a major cause of the discrepancy between the money that the students pay and when the universities are refunding them back. But then, what have we done? I set up a committee to quickly standardize the processes from NEFund end and the university's end. Right. They're working, they're going to be submitting their report in the next few days. We'll have standardized nomenclature of all the fees that each university should charge. They will let us know, they will let the students know their service charges as well. Also on the NEFund end, NEFund will have to pay proactively at a certain time of the year so that the universities can also plan. And once we start doing this, we will migrate completely. We'll eliminate completely the problems of students paying and having to get refund. That will be a thing of the past.
Indeed.
By the time we implement the new
Dr. Lausa, allow me to jump in quickly.
Finalizing very soon.
Yes, allow me to jump in quickly. I hope that while you do that, I want you to also bear in mind that some students have reported unauthorized deductions from disbursed funds, and they have blamed the delays on collusion between schools and banks. So I'm hoping that when you come out with that process, it will also, pay attention to that. But we're following very closely some of the reactions that have followed.
That. You see, what they're calling unauthorized deduction, please, we have to be fair to the tertiary institutions as well. These are institutions that are manned with capable, patriotic Nigerians. I think it was just a communication problem. The unauthorized deductions were service charges, customary and usual and customary charges that were charged by those institutions, but they didn't communicate those to the students. It was communication lag. There was no corruption there. And that's why I'm telling you to clarify this. Those perceived unauthorized charges were service charges, legal service charges by those institutions. But by the time we implement these new guidelines, this will be a thing of the past. It will be completely eliminated.
Dr. Lausa, we have to go now. They have called you a quiet force of change, crediting you with transformative efforts in like many great projects for universities, ending the BA scholarship scheme. There are also conversations around access to UBEC fund to upgrade primary education. You recently launched a national anti-bullying policy. We really do not have time to go through all of these, but you came from the health sector, right? And many say that you have brought a clinical diagnosis to education. So in a minute, if you can, talk to us about what your diagnosis would be if Nigeria's education system were a patient. What's your honest prognosis, and how long would the treatment take before we see recovery?
Thank you. We're past the phase of diagnosis. We're clear now on where we're going. If you see our 6 priorities, we're past the phase of diagnosis. Let me repeat. We're now in full implementation phase. I won't say treatment phase, full implementation phase, and we're already seeing results. You must have heard that 6 high focal area, our expansive agenda, expansive TVET agenda, technical vocational education and training. That will be rolled out this Friday. All right. With second high priority, where if I can talk for the next 3 hours on TVET, but I don't want to do that because I only have just about 3 minutes. But let me quickly go through what we're doing, and we're beginning to see results. High focus on STEM, STEM with 2M, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medical sciences. You've seen that we're spending almost 110 billion naira rehabilitating 18 medical schools across 6 geopolitical zones. We're also building new simulation lab to expand our ability to admit more students to medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, and nursing. We've actually surpassed our annual admission rate, a target admission for nursing.
Indeed.
We also have a clear idea of how we need to tackle our out-of-school children.
Honourable Minister.
We now have, we're working with the Amajiri, go ahead, but we're beginning to even see reduction in the out-of-school children.
Honourable Minister, you know what?
Go ahead.
You know that this show comes on air every day of the week, Mondays to Friday. And now that you know where our studio is, we can always invite you again. I'm hoping that we'll continue this conversation subsequently. I will wish you all the best as we mark the 2nd year anniversary of the Tinubu administration. Dr. Tunji Alausa, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much. It will be my honor to come back all the time. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the honor and the privilege.
We'll take a short break and we'll be back with the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo. Stay with us, everyone.